Understand text visualization types. Text visualizations put greater emphasis on the plain text in your data sets. Oftentimes, text visualizations display that data using a combination of text and numerical or chart formats. If you are wondering if any text visualizations ought to be present on your report canvas, ask yourself, what do I want my audience to know? Do you want to sum up certain data points for them using text? Perhaps you want to highlight data points like relationships using a context line of some kind. If the answer to either of those questions is yes for any key fields, then representing the fields in question with a text visualization is likely to be appropriate for your report. Let's take a look at some of these visualizations. Card visualizations. One commonly used, easy-to-format text visualization are the card visualizations. These visuals display data points, one row at a time. There are two kinds, single number and multi-row. A single number card is most likely to be used if there is one very important data point to be highlighted, such as total annual sales. A multi-row card is used when there is more than one data point to highlight, such as annual sales by age demographics. Table visualizations. A table should be very familiar to most report designers. It's a grid of rows, columns, and headers which contain and organize related data. They work best in instances where values grouped into various categories need to be compared quantitatively. KPI visualizations. Another commonly used text visualization is the KPI chart. Depending on your level of experience with business data analytics, you may already know the essential term Key Performance Indicator. To put it simply, a Key Performance Indicator, or KPI, is any measurable value that can tell you how your data's actual performance measures up against the goals you have set for your business. The KPI chart visualization is the visual representation of where your data falls within the parameters of your goals. In order to create a KPI visualization, you must have a base measure value, a target measure value, and a goal, also called a threshold. For example, let's consider Gary from the previous module. You may remember that he met his goal to increase the quarterly sales for sports and outdoor products in his region by targeting a promising demographic of buyers. To make his goal measurable, let's say his team's total contributions to the company's overall revenue for the fiscal year came in at $1.13 million, while his target had been a 21% increase in regional sales from a base of $747,000. To create a KPI based on his values, Gary enters them into the field pane on the report view, which you will learn to do later in a video. He then converts the values into a KPI visual by selecting the KPI visualization in the Visualizations pane, pictured here. Note the resulting KPI chart. The field parameters have been adjusted to show the overall sales for the fiscal year. To the team's delight, the chart shows they in fact surpassed their goal. Key influencer visualizations. You may also remember that through data modeling, Gary's team discovered the initial sales increase was related to a surge of college-aged buyers attending a new satellite campus in the region. This is called a key influencer, another fundamental BI analytics value. The definition of a key influencer is a factor that drives a metric you're interested in. In other words, key influencers are factors that contribute to important data trends, and oftentimes can be things like buyer demographics, geographical region, or the performances of competitive brands. Here is an example of a key influencers chart. In the case of Gary's team, the discovery of young buyers as key influencers of the sales increase came about after appropriate queries discovered relationships in the data modeling stage. Ultimately, the team likely created a key influencers chart to properly showcase the relationship, using the key influencers chart option in the Visualizations pane, pictured here. Ready to learn how to create and format these visualizations yourself? Create a visualization card. When you want to call attention to a single value within your report, you can use a card visualization. In the Visualizations pane, select the card icon. In the Data pane, expand the table you want to use. Activate the Data Field checkbox. The card visualization enables users to review a single piece of data on the report page. Create a table visualization. In the Visualizations pane, select the table icon. Drag the visual to a relevant area. In the Data pane, expand the tables carrying the data fields you want to add. Activate the checkboxes of the data fields you want to add to the visual. To adjust the size of the table, click and drag the visual to the preferred size. Use table visualizations to display detailed data and exact values in a tabular format. Create a KPI chart. KPI, or Key Performance Indicator charts, display the progress towards a measurable goal. To create a KPI chart, your data set will need a base measure, a target measure or value, and a goal. In the Visualizations pane, click the KPI icon. In the Data pane, expand the tables you want to use in the visual. Click and drag the data field you want to measure to the Value field. To include a trend line, locate the data field for the time period you want to use. In this case, we will focus on how our data trends daily. However, if we wanted to view how it trends by month, year, or quarter, we would drag the appropriate field. Click and drag the date field you want to use to the Trend Axis field. In the Target field, click and drag the data field to use as the goal. The indicator value is displayed prominently in the KPI chart, with the trend axis in the background. By default, The goal and the distance from the goal are displayed directly beneath the indicator. Keep track of the progress towards key objectives with KPI charts. Create a Key Influencers chart. The Key Influencers chart displays the factors that influence the end result of the data. For example, you may want to find what influences the demand for certain products, such as age range or demographics. In the Visualizations pane, click the Key Influencers icon. Expand the tables you want to use in the visual. Click and drag the data field you want to investigate into the Analyze field. Click and drag the data fields that might influence the rating into the Explain By field. If you are analyzing a measure or summarized field, you can click and drag a data field that will be used as a key or index value in the Expand By field. This will prompt Power BI to treat the measure or summary like a column and look at individual rows. The Key Influencers chart analyzes the data and ranks the main factors. To view more information about each influencer, click the influencer. A visualization is generated for each influencer. To view which factors cause the metric to decrease, click the What Influences drop-down. Select Decrease. The top influencers that cause the metric to decrease are now displayed. To view how a combination of factors influences the rating, click the Top Segments tab. An overview of all the segments Power BI discovered appears. To see more details, click a segment. You can review more information about the segment. From the When Is drop-down, select High. Now, the segments where the metric is more likely to be higher appear. Discover new insights and factors that drive a metric you are interested in with the Key Influencers visualization.